At some point in modern life, it became normal to live almost entirely inside one's own head. What once may have been a temporary response to pressure has slowly turned into a permanent way of existing. An entire generation now spends its days thinking about life rather than actually living it. Thoughts loop endlessly, replaying old conversations, rehearsing future ones, analyzing mistakes that can no longer be changed, and imagining catastrophes that may never happen. Meanwhile, the body remains strangely absent. It moves through routines, commutes, conversations, and responsibilities, but without true presence. There is often a quiet numbness beneath the activity, a sense that the body is no longer a place we inhabit, but merely a vehicle carrying the mind from one obligation to the next. Many people describe this feeling as if they are watching their own life from a distance, participating, yet not fully there. And yet, this state has been normalized. It is rarely questioned. It is called productivity, intelligence, discipline, even self-awareness. But what if this constant mental noise is not a sign of clarity at all? What if it is a signal, not of strength, but of escape? Psychiatrist Bessel van der Kolk, one of the most influential voices in trauma research, suggests that what we call overthinking or chronic anxiety may actually be something deeper. A form of dissociation, not a flaw in character, not a personal failure, but a survival strategy learned when being fully present in the body no longer felt safe. When life becomes overwhelming, the mind learns to take over. Thinking feels safer than feeling. Analyzing feels safer than sensing. Control replaces presence. And slowly, without realizing it, the mind becomes a refuge, while the body is left behind. This raises a quiet but unsettling question. What if the mind that never stops thinking is not searching for answers, but running from experience? Asterisk when the body becomes associated with pain, fear, or helplessness, the nervous system adapts in the only way it knows how. It looks for safety. And when safety cannot be found in sensation, it is sought in distance. This is where the mind steps in. Thinking creates space between what is happening and what is felt. It offers control when experience feels uncontrollable, in moments of trauma, whether sudden or prolonged. Being fully present in the body can feel unbearable. Sensations become overwhelming. Emotions arrive without warning. The organism learns, often unconsciously, that feeling is dangerous. So it retreats. Awareness shifts upward, away from the body, into thought, analysis, imagination. The mind becomes a shelter, not because it is ideal, but because it is quieter than pain. Psychiatrist Bessel van der Kolk describes this process as dissociation, a protective response, not a defect. The brain is not broken when this happens. It is doing exactly what it evolved to do: preserve survival. When escape is not physically possible, escape becomes internal. The body remains, but the sense of being inside it fades. Over time, this pattern solidifies. What began as an emergency response slowly turns into a baseline state. The nervous system does not recognize that the danger has passed. It continues to act as if presence itself is a threat. The mind stays alert, scanning, planning, thinking, always trying to prevent something from going wrong. This is why so many people live in constant mental motion without knowing why. They are not addicted to thinking. They are protecting themselves from feeling. Thoughts become a buffer, a barrier, a way to stay one step removed from experience. The tragedy is that the same mechanism that once offered safety eventually limits life. When the mind becomes the only refuge, the body becomes unfamiliar territory, and existence narrows, not because life is empty, but because it is no longer being fully felt. Asterisk when the mind remains in control for too long, survival slowly replaces living. What was once a temporary strategy becomes an identity. The constant thinking, the emotional distance, the sense of being slightly removed from everything, all of it starts to feel normal, familiar, even safe. Many people reach adulthood without realizing that they are no longer fully inhabiting their own lives. They function, perform, and respond, yet something essential feels missing. Joy feels muted. Sadness feels distant. The body moves through the world, but without depth, without texture. Life is experienced more as a concept than as a felt reality. This disconnection comes at a cost. Emotions that are not felt do not disappear. They settle quietly into the body. They live in shallow breathing, tight muscles, chronic tension, digestive discomfort, restless sleep. Over time, the body begins to speak in the only language left to it: discomfort, anxiety, exhaustion, numbness. This is why insight alone rarely brings relief. Understanding what happened, naming the trauma, or explaining the pattern does not automatically restore presence. The body does not respond to explanations. It responds to experience. It responds to safety, sensation, and regulation. Bessel van der Kolk reminds us that trauma is not held in memory alone, but in physiology. The nervous system remains organized around protection long after the threat has passed. The mind stays vigilant, scanning for danger, trying to control every variable. Not because danger is present, but because it once was. Over time, people begin to believe this state is who they are. I'm just anxious. I'm emotionally detached. I live in my head. But these are not traits. They are adaptations. And while adaptations keep us alive, they also limit how deeply we can live. When survival becomes a lifestyle, existence becomes smaller, not because life has less to offer, but because the body has not yet learned that it is safe to receive it. This disconnection does not develop in isolation. It is reinforced daily by the world we live in. Modern culture quietly rewards those who can override their bodies, those who push through fatigue, silence emotion, and remain productive no matter the cost. Presence is rarely valued. Efficiency is. From an early age, many of us are taught that emotions are obstacles. Crying is discouraged. Sensitivity is labeled weakness. Rest is treated as laziness. The body becomes something to manage, discipline, and control, rather than something to listen to. Over time, we learn to trust our thoughts more than our sensations, our schedules more than our rhythms. This mindset is deeply rooted in the way we have been taught to understand ourselves. The mind is framed as the center of identity, logic, and worth. The body is reduced to a tool, an object to be optimized, corrected, or ignored. Even suffering is often approached intellectually. We are asked what we think, rarely what we feel in our bodies. Medicine often treats the body as a malfunctioning machine. Psychology frequently isolates the mind from physical experience. In both cases, the living, sensing body is overlooked. Yet emotions do not exist in abstraction. They are lived through muscle tension, breath patterns, posture, and nervous system states. Technology intensifies this separation. Screens demand attention without embodiment. We engage mentally while remaining physically still. Hours pass without movement, without sensation, without awareness of breath or posture. The mind accelerates while the body fades into the background. In such an environment, dissociation becomes invisible. It is no longer recognized as disconnection. It is called normal. Entire lives are lived from the neck up. And when the body begins to protest through anxiety, exhaustion, or emptiness, we are encouraged to think harder, work faster, or distract ourselves more. But a life lived without the body is not a full life. It is a performance of living, stripped of depth, texture, and presence. Never before has it been so easy to remain inside the mind. Modern technology offers endless stimulation, constant input, and an uninterrupted stream of information. From the moment we wake up until we fall asleep, screens occupy our attention. Messages, notifications, videos, and feeds fill every empty space where silence once existed. First, this stimulation feels harmless, even comforting. It keeps the mind busy. It distracts from discomfort. It offers relief from boredom, loneliness, or unease. But beneath the convenience lies something deeper. Continuous mental engagement prevents contact with the body. The more attention is pulled outward, the less awareness remains inward. Digital life trains the nervous system to stay alert. The mind jumps rapidly from one stimulus to the next, while the body remains still, passive, and unnoticed. Breathing becomes shallow. Movement becomes minimal. Sensation fades into the background. Over time, this imbalance creates a familiar but damaging state. A hyperactive mind paired with an underinhabited body. This pattern does not affect only those with visible trauma. It affects almost everyone. Children grow up interacting with screens before they understand their own emotions. Teenagers experience connection without touch, validation without presence. Adults become identified with profiles, tasks, and schedules, losing contact with their internal rhythms. Endless stimulation also alters our relationship with discomfort. Silence begins to feel threatening. Stillness becomes uncomfortable. Any moment without input is quickly filled. But discomfort is often the doorway back into sensation. When it is constantly avoided, the body remains unvisited. What we call digital connection is often a simulation of presence. The mind feels occupied, but the body feels absent. And the longer this continues, the more dissociation feels like normal functioning. The tragedy is subtle. You can spend hours consuming content about healing, mindfulness, and self-awareness, yet never feel your feet on the ground. Information replaces experience. Understanding replaces embodiment. And without the body, there is no real life, only continuous mental activity, mistaken for existence. There is a moment when the endless movement of the mind can be interrupted, not by force, not by positive thinking, but by attention. A simple shift in focus that changes the direction of awareness and begins to dissolve the distance between thought and experience. The question is deceptively simple. Where do you feel this in your body? Most people are not used to being asked this. When questioned about their inner state, they respond with explanations, stories, reasons. But these are thoughts, not feelings. Emotions do not exist as ideas. They exist as sensations, as pressure, warmth, tightness, vibration, heaviness. Fear is not a concept. It is a tightening in the chest, a contraction in the stomach, a quickening of the breath. Sadness is not an explanation. It is weight, slowness, a hollow feeling beneath the ribs. Anger is not an opinion. It is heat, tension, energy building in the muscles. When attention moves from interpretation to sensation, something subtle but powerful occurs. The nervous system begins to regulate. Awareness replaces avoidance. Instead of fleeing from experience through thought, the body is finally allowed to speak. Naming sensation creates space. Space between stimulus and reaction. Space between emotion and behavior. You are no longer lost inside the feeling, nor are you suppressing it. You are witnessing it, feeling it move, letting it exist without being overwhelmed by it. This is not about analyzing emotions. It is about allowing them to be felt as physical events. The mind stops racing because it no longer needs to protect against the unknown. Sensation becomes information instead of threat. This shift is foundational in somatic approaches to healing, because what the body holds cannot be released through understanding alone. It must be experienced, acknowledged, and integrated at the level where it lives. The moment you ask where you feel something, the escape begins to end. Awareness descends from the head back into the body. And with that descent, presence returns, slowly, gently, and truthfully. For those who have lived outside their bodies for a long time, returning is not immediately comfortable. Sensation itself can feel overwhelming. This is why reconnection cannot begin with intensity. It must begin with safety. Before the body can open, it needs to know that the present moment is not dangerous. Grounding is the practice of re-establishing contact with the here and now through direct physical perception. It is not symbolic. It is physiological. When dissociation is active, the nervous system is either overstimulated or shut down. In both cases, awareness is pulled away from the body. Grounding gently reverses this by anchoring attention in concrete sensory experience. The feeling of feet pressing into the floor, the weight of the body in a chair, the texture of an object held in the hand, the temperature of air against the skin. These sensations send a clear message to the brain. This moment is tolerable. Nothing needs to be escaped. Breathing deepens. Muscles soften. The nervous system begins to shift out of survival mode. Simple grounding practices may appear insignificant, yet their effect is profound. Cold water on the hands, a firm touch against the chest, standing and noticing the pull of gravity. These experiences restore orientation. They remind the body that it exists in space and time, not in memory or anticipation. Grounding is especially important when approaching difficult emotions. Without it, awareness can quickly become overwhelming, leading to shutdown or panic. With grounding, sensation becomes manageable. The body learns that it can feel without collapsing. Over time, this creates a new internal reference point. Instead of fleeing into thought at the first sign of discomfort, the body begins to trust its ability to remain present. Safety becomes embodied, not conceptual. In a world that constantly pulls attention outward, grounding is a quiet act of resistance. It is a return to the most basic truth. You are here, you are supported, and your body is not an enemy. It is the place where life unfolds. Once the body begins to feel safe, it naturally seeks expression. What dissociation once froze, presence now invites to move. This movement does not begin with discipline or effort, but with listening. The body remembers what the mind forgot. That motion is essential to life. Trauma, stress, and prolonged inhibition leave energy trapped in the nervous system. Muscles hold tension. Breathing becomes restricted. Posture collapses or hardens. Movement allows what has been held back to complete its cycle. It releases energy that words alone could never reach. This is why practices that involve conscious movement are so powerful. Yoga, dance, walking with awareness, martial arts, and intuitive motion all invite attention back into the body. They require presence. You cannot be fully in thought while moving with awareness. Sensation becomes unavoidable, and in that awareness, integration begins. Movement reorganizes emotion. Anger finds strength. Sadness finds softness. Fear finds grounding. The body learns that sensation can be dynamic rather than overwhelming. Instead of being something to endure, feeling becomes something that flows. Over time, movement transforms the relationship between mind and body. The body is no longer an object to control, but a partner to cooperate with. Decisions feel clearer because intuition, which is always bodily, is heard again. Confidence grows not from certainty, but from inhabiting oneself more fully. This return to movement is not about performance. It is about inhabitation. It is about restoring the sense of being inside your own skin. Each step taken with awareness strengthens the bridge between thought and sensation. As vitality returns, life begins to feel richer. Not necessarily easier, but more real. The body becomes a place where emotion can move, express, and settle. And in that movement, the frozen parts of the self begin to thaw. Movement is not the end of healing, but it is a powerful sign that the body is no longer only surviving. It is participating, and participation is the doorway back to life. When you live only in your head, life becomes something you think about rather than something you experience. The mind keeps you safe, but it keeps you distant. The body, however, is where presence lives. It is where emotion moves, where intuition speaks, where reality is felt instead of imagined. Healing does not mean erasing the past or silencing the mind. It means learning to stay, to feel your breath, your weight, your sensations, even when they are uncomfortable. Living in the mind is survival. Living in the body is existence. And the moment you return, life begins again.